Today, we're going to talk about growing up, I guess, or at least trying to, in 1 minute or less.
Actually, it's going to be a few minutes. I'm sorry.
So, this is something that has been on my mind a lot. I've brought it up in a lot of recent episodes of my podcast with various guests. And what we're talking about today is the concept of growing up, which is a very vague topic, but more specifically, I think growing up as somebody that is in an alternative subculture, somebody that, grew up listening to punk rock and heavy metal and watching cartoons and dumb movies and playing video games. Growing up for people like me and maybe like you, if you are also someone in that boat. We are not incredibly unique people, but as I've gotten older, I am 35 years old for those of you that don't know. In the past couple years, I've really started to think what is the purpose of my life in the grand scheme of things? And, the purpose of one's life, and I think the meaning of life to some degree, is to be able to provide for yourselves and the people around you and to just contribute to your community and contribute to society and just make the world a better place to live in for future generations. I think that I do that in my own ways. I try to uplift people in my community, which is like music and underground arts, and give people a voice and a platform through my podcast and promote their work. And that's what I do. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't know how important any of that really is. But I think looking at things on such a broad spectrum sometimes is kind of missing the point. I think the meaning of life in a lot of ways is the little things. It's like the insignificant shit is kind of the meaning of it all. And it's not so much about this bigger picture sort of thing. So how does this tie into growing up? It ties in because I just don't know if I made all of the best decisions in my life. I'm the person today that I should have been when I was 25, maybe, not 35. I feel like I'm a decade behind. And while I'm totally happy where I am and I feel like I'm in a healthy place, I'm not in any sort of a toxic situation by any means. I'm very thankful for that. I wonder if it's the right place for me. I don't know what I don't know what that is. Does anybody out there that's watching this ever have that sort of feeling? Do you ever have that feeling if you're somebody that is still maybe trying to make, music stuff happen or still trying to do things with art or this or that? It's when is enough? And when do you find a way to just be happy with yourself and who you are, even if it's taken you longer to get where you want to be? Or if, in my case, I'm pretty confident that I'm never going to be where I want to be. That sounds dark, and I don't mean for that to sound so fucking woe is me, because it's not. I think that there's just a comfort in the reality, a comfort in the reality of knowing that hey, maybe this shit just isn't going to happen for me on the level that maybe I would want it to. And maybe a part of that is just nothing ever being enough. How do I expect to grow up when I still have this adolescent mentality of things just not being enough and not actually being able to settle down with the realities of my individual situation? Maybe the best thing for somebody in my particular position in terms of growing up is just taking responsibility for what I have done up until this point in my life and just making sure that things are being taken care of accordingly and just kind of hoping for the best. There's just a part of me that feels as though I missed something. I fucked something up, am I supposed to have kids now? Am I supposed to own a home? Am I supposed to be married? Am I supposed to be not still, getting together with other adults in a basement every week to play songs that, the same 100 or 200 people are going to listen to? I don't know. It makes me happy. and everything's taken care of. So in some sense, it's not like I'm a total fuck up. Like I have my shit together, but is it still where I should be? Am I actually contributing something to the grand scheme of life in any sort of way? Or am I just on this, inevitably selfish path, living a life that's ultimately not really going to make much of a difference? I guess that's normal. Not many of us are ever going to make much of a difference. As I said before, I think it's more about the smaller things, the nuance that creates the overall meaning of life. I just don't know sometimes if what I'm doing is worth it. I don't know. Like, are recording these videos a fucking waste of my time? A waste of your time? Is doing music a waste of time? Art? The podcast? I don't know. I like to think that all of this means something, but I'd be lying to you if, I didn't say that, like, this is the shit that goes on in my head a lot. It's just like, is it time to grow up? And what does that mean? Or am I grown up? Should I just actually talk to somebody about these things? Like, I spend so much time talking to other people that, like, I don't really ever think I take the time to process what's going on in my head. And I suppose that's what's happening now. It's just like, I'm happy, but I just wonder, like, where did I do something wrong? Like, should I be in a different place? I don't know. But maybe that's just human nature to always take what you have for granted. I guess people that have less always want more. And then, the people that have more always romanticize having less. Not always, but it just feels weird as I continue to age and I'm still just doing the same shit over and over again. Like, here's another podcast, here's another album, here's another music video, here's another this and that. And like, I'm enjoying it and I feel like the work itself is getting better. I just don't know what the end goal is. I feel like at this point, I've achieved so much personally, so many personal goals. I've recorded, almost 400 episodes of my fucking podcast. If you include every single little vlog and other video that I've done, it's probably well over 500 videos at this point that I've done. And I don't know how much it's really grown in a lot of ways. I feel like a lot of the same people that were riding with me when I started my music or started my podcast or whatever, like, they're still the people that are here today. And don't get me wrong, like, people have definitely come on and it's not about like getting popular or famous or anything. It's just like, I don't see the growth. And I think that's the thing. I'm growing up, but I don't know if my art is, or I don't know if my music is. I don't know if the podcast, I just don't see the growth. I see the age in myself and I see time passing, but I don't see a lot of growth in other aspects. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm just blind to it because I'm living in it from day to day. And I don't know. Maybe if I had a time machine or I took some reflection to go back and look, I would see the changes. But being in it, I don't see the growth. And I think that as an artist, maybe those of you watching this can relate to that. Maybe. Do you ever have issues just feeling like you're not growing in your art? And, maybe it's time to try something different or a different approach. Like, I don't know. I'm so torn about all of this stuff, but I suppose it's a natural thing. So I'm going to leave off the video there. Maybe if anybody wants to have a discussion about this in the comments or privately, feel free to hit me up. I'm not quitting or anything anytime soon. I don't want this to come off as that. Definitely not. It's just in my head, like, really just battling these feelings of like, what am I doing and why am I doing so much? What is my end goal? I'm just doing shit because I want to do it. Really. But there are other things in life that I have definitely avoided doing that maybe I should have done. But should I have done those things? Should I own a home now? Should I have a family? I don't know. I think there's a lot of like corny, stereotypical things about home life and a family life that I feel are important and I feel as though I should be contributing to. I feel as though I shouldn't be spending so much time lost in my art and my personal projects. But it's like all I know. It's all I know how to do or what to do. And the thought of breaking away from that is fucking frightening. But I also know that like this party can't last forever, right? So I just don't know, like, what do I do moving forward? What is the next stage of my life? And I wonder if anybody else has these feelings. I'm sure people do. I think this is probably why a lot of people end up taking steps away from their creativity or taking steps away from whatever it is they're doing, is because this is a lot to go through in my head right now. And I think that maybe I'm just a little burned out. I've been working a lot, especially over this past year, recording new music with 3 different projects, recording so many podcasts and vlogs, and constantly creating, drawing, working on music videos, doing website stuff, album stuff. Just maybe I'm burned out. I don't know. Maybe I just need a vacation. Anyways, let me know how you all feel about this. If you're dealing with this, how you deal with it. If you're somebody that has decided to take a break away from your art because of these feelings, is that something that you plan on getting back to? And what do you feel that you need to do to be able to get back to it? Or, just whatever, like whatever's on your mind regarding any of this, feel free to share your thoughts and feelings. I'd be really curious to know what you all have to say. Until next time, my friends, keep your heads up, stay productive, stay positive. I don't want this to come off as like negative or woe is me, but I think that it's important to be honest with your feelings and the stuff that's going on in your head and have those discussions. I've always felt like I've had a hard time relating to people in terms of work ethic or, reasonings for doing things. I know that that's not true. I'm sure there are people out there, but I've always had a hard time relating to people when it comes to that sort of stuff. So it's hard for me to talk to people about this stuff because I think a lot of it is just kind of selfish nonsense that, really doesn't deserve anybody's time. But that's also not a healthy feeling to have about your feelings. So I'm rambling. I'm going to stop recording this. If you're watching this, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of the people around you, but definitely make sure to take care of yourself. I will see you. I don't even know how to end this video. I'm just way too lost in my thoughts right now. But I'll see you next time. Peace.